Have you ever paused in the kitchen, stared at a sliced onion, and wondered who decided to call this thing red? Because let's be honest, when you peel a red onion, the outer skin looks like a deep maroon. The inside shines with purple rings, and at no point does it actually look red. Yet grocery stores everywhere label them as red onions. Cookbooks tell you to chop a red onion, and we all know exactly what they mean. This little naming mystery has followed us around for centuries, and while it might seem like one of those things we just accept, there's actually a surprisingly interesting story behind it. So today, let's peel back the layers, literally and figuratively, and explore how a purple vegetable got stuck with the name red onion in the first place, right here on History of Simple Things. To understand the name, we need to step back a few centuries, back when people didn't describe colors as precisely as we do today. In older languages, especially in Europe, color categories were much broader. What we consider distinct colors today, like purple, pink, and certain shades of brown, were often grouped under the general category of red. Some historians believe that anything with a reddish tint, no matter how mild, was simply labeled red because the word for purple either wasn't widely used yet or wasn't considered a separate color in common speech. And if you've ever looked closely at a red onion's papery skin, it does have a reddish undertone, especially when the light hits it just right. Back then, that little hint was enough to land it in the red family. This wasn't unique to onions either. Consider the red cabbage, which is also very much purple, or red wine, which can be anywhere from maroon to dark purple. Even ancient languages like Old English and Latin often used one color word to describe a wide spectrum. So calling onions red was less about being wrong and more about fitting into how color worked in the past, a system that was much more flexible and less specific than what we use today. Aside from history, another theory proposes a much more practical reason. Red onions were named after the color they turned food when used in cooking or preserving. When you slice red onions and soak them in vinegar or add them to pickles, they release a reddish, pinkish dye that stains the brine. Even today, pickled onions often turn a bright pink or light red. The same thing happens when they're cooked down. Their pigment, anthocyanin, reacts to acidity and heat, creating a range of colors from red to pink to purple. So imagine living in the 1600s, when pickling was a big part of food preservation. If the onions stained vinegar or brine red, people might naturally start calling them red onions, especially if the name helped distinguish them from white or yellow onions. And once a name sticks in cooking traditions, it's almost impossible to change, especially across countries, recipes, and generations. Behind the purple glow of a red onion is a pigment called anthocyanin, a natural compound that reacts dramatically to changes in acidity. This pigment is incredibly sensitive. Add acid like lemon juice or vinegar, and the onion shifts toward a reddish shade. Add something alkaline, and it leans deeper into blue or purple. This chemical flexibility is one reason the onion looks different depending on how you cook it or what dish it joins. It's not just a pretty color either. Anthocyanins are antioxidants, meaning the pigment that's caused centuries of naming confusion is also part of what makes red onions slightly healthier than their white and yellow cousins. So that red in red onion isn't just about language, it's also hiding a bit of chemistry inside every layer. Another interesting angle is that onions themselves have evolved over time. The varieties we have today are not exactly the same as the ones grown centuries ago. Some older onion types may have had skins that looked more reddish than today's modern purple-toned varieties. Over hundreds of years of cultivation and crossbreeding, farmers selected onions for flavor, storage, size, and appearance, possibly shifting the skin color more toward purple. But the old name didn't change. This happens all the time in language. Once people get used to calling something a certain name, it becomes locked in, even if the product slowly changes. Think about blackberries, which are actually dark purple, or green onions, which are partly white. We don't rename them when details shift. We just keep using the familiar name. So red onion might simply be a linguistic fossil that stuck around even as the onion's color drifted into purple. Interestingly, English isn't the only language that calls these onions red. Many European languages do the same. In German, it's Rotzwiebel, literally red onion. In French, it's oignon rouge. In Spanish, cebolla roja. Even in languages outside Europe, the same naming pattern appears. This suggests that the color confusion didn't start in one place and spread, it was a shared experience. People everywhere looked at this onion, compared it to others, and collectively agreed it belonged in the red category. It's a small reminder that language evolves through shared habits, not strict logic. Across cultures, people simply saw the onion's reddish skin, compared it to white and yellow onions, and gave it the label that made the most sense at the time. So why is it called a red onion when it's clearly purple? The answer is a blend of history, practicality, and the stubbornness of language. People used color words differently centuries ago. The onion's skin, though purple to us, had enough of a reddish tint to earn a place in the red category. Its pigments turned food red during pickling, and as the onion evolved, the name stayed, because that's just what humans do. Once we name something, we rarely go back and update it. In a way, the name red onion is like a tiny museum piece sitting in your kitchen, a leftover from an older world where color was defined differently and where food names were shaped by habit instead of precision. And honestly, as confusing as it is, it gives the onion a bit of charm. Because sometimes the small mysteries in everyday life are the ones that make the world just a little more interesting. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.